Good morning, Conway Cougars. This is chapter 10 of Small Spaces. By the time Ollie got caught up, the sixth grade was trekking towards a patch of sunflowers whose petals had withered, their pods rattling with seeds. Ollie tried to sneak in with the group, but Mr. Easton spotted her. "Ollie," he called. She altered course. Mr. Easton was frowning. "I didn't see you in the milk shed. I didn't spot you in the horse barn either. Did you go outside?" Ollie debated lying, decided Mr. Easton would know it, and said yes. Mr. Easton looked concerned. "Do you need some quiet time?" Ollie suddenly wanted to yell, "Quiet time, always quiet time. If she could make her own head and heart be quiet." "Ollie." "Yes," said Ollie again. Mr. Easton sighed. "I understand, but next time tell me. Don't just sneak off. Now we're going to harvest some sunflower seeds, and then it'll be time for lunch." Mr. Easton, Ollie thought, was nice. Lunch was delicious. Misty Valley had an outdoor bread oven, which Seth handled with an old-fashioned bread paddle, a streak of flour on one sharp cheekbone. Lily Mayhem went back 3 times for bread, giggling. She and Jenna edged each other on. Even Ollie went back once, and when Seth winked at her, she smiled at him. He hadn't winked at Lily Mayhem. The bread was good. It was a thick golden crust of pale insides. There was honey you could put on top of a salty sort of butter. With the bread went red tomato soup, the last of the fresh tomatoes, proclaimed Miss Webster, presiding over a pot and big rounds of farmhouse cheese. Waiting in the soup line, Ollie decided that she was fed up with being puzzled. When she raised her bowl to have it filled with the tomato soup, she met Mrs. Webster's eyes. "Hi," she said, holding out her bowl. The lady in front of her suddenly wore such a cold, sinking expression of fright that Ollie felt a prickling of nervousness between her own shoulder blades. "So nice to see you again," said Ollie, in her best innocent voice. Miss Webster slopped soup towards Ollie's bowl, but her trembling hand missed and sent a cream of tomato all over the ground. "Clumsy of me. No," Miss Webster stammered. No, I don't think so. I don't remember meeting you. Sorry." She ladled Ollie more soup with hands that still trembled. "I'm reading it," said Ollie, abandoning pretense. "I'll give it back to you if you want, but I have just some questions." Miss Webster's pumpkin head grin was more fake than ever. "Oh, I can't imagine what you mean. Go along, dear." She turned sharply to serve soup to the next kid, putting her back to Ollie. Frowning, Ollie got the bread and cheese and the pumpkin pie and went to the table. She was more confused than ever. She wished she could sneak off by herself and finish Small Spaces, but Mr. Easton was keeping a close eye on her. When they finished serving food, Seth and Miss Webster and the bus driver sat down with Mr. Easton. Ollie watched them closely. Miss Webster was talking with frantic animation, like she was an actor in a play. Seth didn't say much, although sometimes he smiled. The bus driver was hunched over his food, eating as though he was starving, off a plate piled high. The food disappeared in a blink. His red mouth bit, gulped, and swallowed. It had to be him that Miss Webster was scared of. Why, what connection did he have to the book called Small Spaces? Why would he want Miss Webster to get rid of it? Coco Zintner plopped down on the bench opposite of Ollie, breaking her chain of thought. Coco had a car's Band-Aid on her chin, and her eyes were red. "I hate them," said Coco. "They all laughed at me. No one helped." Ollie hadn't helped either. "Sorry," she mumbled, still keeping an eye on the adults. "You helped me yesterday," said Coco. "I never said thanks, so thanks." Ollie didn't say anything. "Don't you hate them?" said Coco, with a sweep of her arm to indicate their class. Ollie hurriedly rescued her cup of water, which Coco had almost sent into her lap. "You always sit by yourself." Ollie thought about explaining, and then she just said, "No, I don't hate anyone." That was true. She didn't care enough to try to be friends with anymore. She hadn't cared about much of anything in almost a year. She looked down again, finding her place on the page. "Then why do you sit by yourself?" asked Coco. Ollie said nothing. "Is it because your mom died?" Coco pressed. Ollie looked up, stomach churning. She didn't hate her classmates for the most part, but she did hate Coco just then. Pretty Coco with her pink hair and her stupid crying eyes, and her mom at home. None of your business, Ollie snapped. Or don't you have any brain at all in your stupid pink head? A murmur of appalled delight ran through the sixth grade. Coco stared at Ollie, her mouth open, her eyes filling with tears once again. Ollie got up and ran, book in her pocket, backpack over her shoulder, leaving the rest of her bread uneaten. All right, Conway Cougars, that was a short chapter. Tune in tomorrow for chapter 11. Have a great day, everyone.